You've never spent money by choice. Not once in your life. I know how that sounds. You've bought coffee this week, you've paid rent, you picked out those shoes yourself. Nobody forced you. But what if I told you that almost none of those moments were really a decision? What if your brain made the call before you even knew you were choosing? Stick with me. By the end of this video, you'll never look at your bank statement the same way again. Before we continue, this video is for educational purposes only. It is not financial advice. It explores behavioral patterns in spending and perception, not personal financial instruction. Now, let's get into it. Let's start with something small. You walk into a coffee shop. The regular size is $4. The large is $4.60. You don't think. You just get the large. It's basically the same price, right? Now picture this. You're at the grocery store. A jar of the same brand of coffee is $6 versus $7 for a bigger bag. Suddenly you're standing there, doing math in your head, comparing price per ounce, debating if you even need that much coffee. Same product, same brand, same 60-cent gap. But in one place, you didn't blink. In the other, you turned into an accountant. That's strange, isn't it? Here's another one. You'll drive across town to save $2 on gas, but you won't blink at a $5 convenience fee on a concert ticket you bought from your couch. You'll return a shirt because it doesn't fit right, but you'll let a $15 subscription you forgot about quietly charge your card for the 8th month in a row. If you're nodding right now, good. That means you're paying attention. Because none of this is random. You are not bad with money. You are running on a system, and that system was never designed by you. Here's the part nobody tells you. Your brain doesn't experience spending the way you think it does. Neuroscientists have looked at what happens inside the brain right before a purchase. There's a moment, just before you decide, where a region tied to anticipation and reward lights up. It's the same circuitry that responds to food, to attention, to almost anything that feels good. Right after that, another region activates, one tied to loss, to discomfort. Some researchers call this the pain of paying. Spending money isn't just a transaction. It's a tiny emotional event, a flash of wanting followed by a flash of loss. And your brain is constantly negotiating between the two. This is why cash feels different from a card. When you hand over cash, you feel the loss. It's physical. You watch the bills leave your hand. When you tap a card, that pain gets muted. There's a small delay, a layer of abstraction between the action and the cost. Your brain registers less loss, so you spend more freely. This is also why $19.99 feels dramatically cheaper than $20, even though your brain knows the difference is basically nothing. The first digit does the emotional work. Your brain reads left to right, and it anchors hard on that first number. And here's where it gets deeper. Behavioral economists talk about something called mental accounting. It's the idea that we don't treat money as one single pool. We split it into invisible categories in our heads. Money from a bonus feels different from money from your paycheck, even though it spends exactly the same. $100 won in a bet feels free, easier to blow on something impulsive. $100 earned through overtime feels heavier, more protected. Same currency, same value, completely different emotional weight. Your brain isn't tracking numbers. It's tracking stories about the numbers. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. You didn't build this system, but someone is using it. Every price tag you've ever seen was not just a number. It was a decision made by someone who studied exactly how your brain responds to that number. Ever notice how a menu will list an outrageously expensive dish next to the one they actually want you to buy? That expensive item probably isn't there to be ordered. It's there to make the second priciest option look reasonable by comparison. This is called the decoy effect, and it works on almost everyone, including people who know about it. Ever wonder why luxury brands rarely go on sale? Because the price isn't selling you a product, it's selling you an identity. A lower price would break the illusion. You're not paying for the leather. You're paying to feel like the person who can afford the leather. Ever notice how hard it is to cancel a subscription, but how easy it was to sign up? That's not an accident either. Friction is removed exactly where a company wants you spending, and added exactly where they want you staying. Even the checkout button on your phone has been tested, redesigned, and optimized, not to help you, to reduce the number of seconds between wanting something and owning it. Because the longer that gap, the more likely your brain catches up and says, wait, do I actually need this? You are not just making decisions. You are making decisions inside a room someone else designed. The lighting, the pricing, the wording, the number of clicks, all of it shaped around a brain that runs on shortcuts. Your brain. This isn't a conspiracy. It's just incentives. Businesses have spent decades learning how humans design, and they've built environments around what they learned. Most of us are just living inside those environments, mistaking the outcome for our own free will. So what do you actually do with this? Not a budgeting app, not a spreadsheet. Those help with tracking, not with the moment itself. What actually works is much smaller. It's about reclaiming that tiny gap between wanting and buying. Here's the shift. Before any non-essential purchase over a certain amount, pick a number that matters to you. Pause for one night. Not because you can't afford it, because you want to know if you still want it once the dopamine settles. Most impulses don't survive contact with tomorrow morning. The ones that do were probably worth it anyway. Second, start asking a different question. Not, can I afford this, but would I still want this if no one ever saw me with it? That single question cuts straight through identity spending. It won't stop you from buying things, but it will make sure you're the one choosing, not the store window. And third, start noticing your categories. Notice when money feels free because of where it came from. Bonus money, gift money, refund money. That's exactly the money most likely to slip through your hands without a second thought. Naming that pattern is often enough to interrupt it. None of this requires more discipline. It requires more awareness. You're not fighting your brain. You're just finally seeing the room you've been standing in the whole time. Spending money was never really about math. It was always about meaning. The stories your brain quietly tells you about worth, identity, and loss, faster than you can even notice. You can't opt out of having a brain that works this way, but you can learn to catch it in the act. And that is the actual art of spending money. If this made you see your own spending a little differently, that's exactly what this channel is here for. Every week, We break down the hidden psychology behind the way we handle money. The patterns you never noticed were patterns at all. If you want to go even deeper into why your brain resists financial change, go watch Your Brain Did This next. It picks up exactly where this video leaves off. And if you're new here, subscribe. This channel exists for people who are done blaming themselves and ready to actually understand the system running underneath. See you in the next one.